Yo, what's going on, guys? We're back with another wrestling podcast on the Mike in the Middle podcast channel. It's been a little while. We've sort of all been busy at points, and then we've just been putting stuff off. I've just been terrible with this. I've been so lazy recently. That's on me. I can't lie there. But today we're without Concina, which is a bit of a sad one. But we do still have John here.
Yep, still here, still going strong.
Yeah, we do. We're the last two entrants of the Royal Rumble from the three-person Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I mean, just lots of life stuff getting in the way of us. But obviously, we'll keep going when we can. So we're back again, and today it's the Backlash preview.
WrestleMania Backlash. First, if we're starting off with that, it's just this stupid name. Why it's now WrestleMania Backlash? I hate it.
It's a weird one. It's a weird one because I guess like the name Backlash in itself, before they added the WrestleMania Backlash into it, like I've never thought about it because is Backlash always in like historical terms? Has it always been after WrestleMania when Backlash been the thing? Because Backlash is kind of one of those pay-per-views that kind of sometimes is a thing, sometimes isn't. Like comes and goes, sort of like what Fastlane is now.
Yeah.
Sort of comes and goes. Was it always after Mania?
I think since they brought it in as one of the pay-per-views, I think it has been. I think last year it was.
Yeah, last year it definitely was, but I don't know about previous years because there was earlier Backlash. I remember there was Cena Lesnar not on the Backlash. I can't remember.
Oh god, I can't remember that.
In the sense of if it has always been after Mania, I think referring to it when on Raw, SmackDown as Backlash, or referring to it as a WrestleMania Backlash, I'm okay with. But the show actually being called WrestleMania Backlash, I feel like you know how we said with like stuff like Commander Aziz, like they kind of just don't they think we're dumb and that we don't understand that he is former whatever's Dabba Kato.
Yeah,
it's so similar with this. It's like they don't realize that we're smart enough to understand that Backlash is like, oh, it's the Backlash of WrestleMania. So they've been like, you know what, we'll make it clear. We'll say it's WrestleMania Backlash for that reason, but also just to try and draw more viewers. Because if they have WrestleMania in the name, they think they can attract more of an audience.
Oh yeah, probably. I mean, yeah, it's just going to be it's self-explanatory, like you're saying there, just calling it Backlash, but again, yeah, it's just to be like, oh, look, this is like directly from WrestleMania. This is what all the stories are. I think it's that's a way for them to cop out as well and be like we had Seth Rollins still going after Cesaro straight after it, being like, oh, it's not over from WrestleMania. I think that that's them sort of being like WrestleMania should have been a place where all storylines just end there, but this is just their way of being like, oh no, we can just carry it on for another little while because we don't really know. Creative just don't know what to do right now. So I just call it WrestleMania Backlash. So we can just carry on stories. So I'm not 100% down for it, but got some decent looking matches on the card.
I was going to say to you before we actually get into our predictions and talking about the matches and how we've got to where we are. I was going to say to you, what do you actually think of the card or the proposed card overall? Because as we've discussed this already, there's 6 matches like that are set, and then 2 that could potentially be on the card is what is being rumored. Another 2 obviously, so 8 in total, which I don't know what that means for the length of Backlash, but I imagine some would be put on the pre-show potentially. So, but on the whole, looking at the card before we get into any of it, what do you think about Backlash?
I think you've got a couple matches that they make sense. They should be there. Like, Cesaro and Roman Reigns. Obviously, that was going to happen. Like, Cesaro's been on he's had this big push recently. So, of course, that was going to happen. What else have you got? I mean, the Dirty Dogs versus the Mysterios. I feel like we've said it quite a few times. It just seems like they're so lost with the tag team divisions in both Raw and SmackDown. So I don't really know what they had their win, the Dirty Dogs, in just before the SmackDown for WrestleMania, and that was like the first time they actually defended the title. So it would make more sense to put it on a team that's actually defending. But I'm just still not sold completely on this whole father-son thing. I think it's nice, but it's just at the same time like, nah.
Yeah.
So, but then you just got the matches on there that just it just makes no sense. Like it's Rhea Ripley versus Asuka versus Charlotte Flair. Like we've already had Asuka having her rematch against Rhea Ripley on that, the Raw after Mania, which wasn't great, but that was ruined by Charlotte Flair. And then just literally all they've done for that is just be like, let's just put Charlotte Flair in the match. Like it's not like there's any actual story there. It's just she's come back, and then she's gone, I deserve to be there. We're going, yeah, all right. Just chuck you in that match. And it annoys me.
When we get on to talking about that in particular, there's something else I'll mention when we talk about the Raw women's roster, or potentially the SmackDown women's roster, with what I will bring up. But I'm with you. I think it's a weird one because, like you say, the Roman Reigns Cesaro match has looked like it's coming. I would have preferred them to have planted the seed. I think there was a SmackDown a couple of weeks back where Rollins keeps interfering with Cesaro, but he interfered in a way, and they ended ended SmackDown with him staring down Cesaro. I thought a better way of doing this was to have planted the seed for Reigns versus Cesaro, and then to have let Rollins interfere, let Cesaro and Rollins maybe have another match or two, get him another picture, maybe Cesaro, maybe even a picture with Big E, where they both feel like they're due a shot with Reigns, and then whoever wins, maybe a best out of three. I don't know, not as like 3 different pay-per-views, but an actual best out of 3 match, because there was one in NXT with Kushida, which I thought was brilliant, and I would love to see that on the main roster because we haven't seen that for a while. But I thought they might have done that and then stretch out to SummerSlam for him to face Reigns, and then even if he didn't win at SummerSlam, he's been pushed on pay-per-views with matches against Rollins and Big E, so it's not exactly like they haven't pushed him. So that's what I would have liked, but nonetheless, that's what we're getting. And then, like you say, we've got the Raw Women's title one, which is just a bit weird after everything that's happened to the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, which is a bit weird. But actually looking at the card, because I can't remember the Backlash cards from previous years, but looking at, I think it has a nice mix. Well, a sort of nice mix, because you've got matches like The Miz and Priest, and you've got the SmackDown Tag Team Championship, which it hasn't been featured. Like it wasn't on WrestleMania. So it's sort of been overlooked. I think it's nice that we're having a match with Miz and Priest that isn't for a title, because everything else is title matches. And if we get the rumored matches of Big E and Apollo Crews and also Sheamus and Humberto, then that would basically be every major championship being defended apart from the women's tag titles, which I believe are being defended on SmackDown tonight as we're recording this. So for a Backlash, I didn't expect them to have almost every title defended. It surprised me, but when we get into predictions, you'll see what I think. I don't think we'll see many title changes, and but yeah, we'll get into that. So should we start our predictions? Where should we start?
Start with probably like the lowest one, the easiest one, the Damian Priest Miz, I reckon, because that will probably, I don't know if that will be, pre-show, or if that's going to be like the first match. I could see either that or the SmackDown Tag Championship being on the pre-show.
We'll start with The Miz, because I feel like they can't put the SmackDown Tag Team Championships in the bin again on a pre-show. I mean, they definitely can if they want to, but they shouldn't.
They shouldn't, but I can see them doing it. Like it's just not. It's just the tag team scene. It's just not great at the moment.
Of course. I mean, the Usos are back, but we don't know what will happen with them. But anyway,
there's a bit of story there first.
Yeah, Priest and Miz. It's apparently, I don't know if it's been confirmed that it's a lumberjack match, but it's saying that, it's saying, Priest won a match and he chose a lumberjack match. So that obviously is going to lead to shenanigans, because Miz is going to try and run around the ring or something and escape. What are your thoughts? Obviously, in the weeks leading up to this, we've had on SmackDown a bit of toying between Priest and The Miz. Priest had a match with John Morrison. It's sort of teasing a rift between The Miz and Morrison. Maurice was there at one point in the beginning, sort of teasing that drifting. And yeah, in my head, I only see it going one way, but I'm interested to see what you think.
I can see. I mean, a lumberjack match again for the Miz. You know, the first time they did it was obviously because he's fighting Big Bobby Lashley for the title, and it's like he's getting scared. He kept running away, so it's like, okay, we're not having this happen again. To me, it's a bit weird. Well, it's weird, but it's a bit stupid. They're doing it again with him, but with not arguably, a much lesser opponent than Damian Priest, because it's like they're trying to be like, oh, put him on the level of Bobby Lashley, because it's like, don't let the Miz escape him. It's like, no, like he's Damian Priest is anywhere near that level. But I can see it having the potential for, like you're saying, the breakup there with him and John Morrison, that there comes a point where Morrison can help save him or something, and he opts not to, like he chooses not to, and it's like, oh snap, this is the actual start. And then at the next pay-per-view or whatever, they have their whole actual breakup match. And that's where Morrison goes off on his own. In terms of prediction though for winning it, I think it's Priest again, like beating Miz. Miz, I think, is just, he's always just been, good enough in the company. He's a good worker. But I think he's also at a point where he's just sort of, he's had his other title win, another one title win, as short as it was. And I think he's just happy to now just put other people over. Like he's just fine. Even though I think he's probably younger than Damian Priest, he's probably happier just to put him over because he's the newer guy in the company, and they probably have big plans for Priest. So he's fine just doing. Miz has always been fine doing what Vince wants most. So he'll probably do it again. Let him go.
I agree with you. I think Priest will win. I think shenanigans. I think Morrison will try and help out Miz. It won't go the way he wants it to, and therefore Miz will pick up the loss. And I think, like you've said, Miz is happy to do whatever the company want. I mean, look at what the company's done for him. He's got his own program, the Miz and Mrs., which I don't know how much say WWE have in that, but obviously he's got that show off the back of WWE, and I think his name still holds enough power and enough gravitas that a win for Priest over the Miz in a singles match, because obviously the WrestleMania was a tag team match, in a singles match, I think that does bode well for him, and I think they are looking to push him, because I read something or I heard something, I can't remember if it's a video I watched or not, that Priest was told that if the WrestleMania match, the tag team match, didn't go well, that would be it from him, from senior members backstage, which I found quite interesting, that they would actually say to him, Luke, if this doesn't go well, this is it for you. You're not going to achieve anything, which is a lot of pressure to put on somebody. I know he's not actually young, but again, somebody new in the industry, or in the WWE anyway, and on the main roster, to say that on his first pay-per-view match was quite bizarre. But yeah, Priest to win, shenanigans, Morrison versus Miz in the next couple of weeks. I don't know if this will be the actual breakup and then next pay-per-view will have a match. I could see it being the beginning of it and then maybe another nail in the coffin, then we get the match. But
I think it could be a little while. It could be like a longer storytelling, but it's coming. You can see it, like you saw when you're saying when Maurice was there.
Yeah,
you could see it. He was getting a bit like, well, what the hell is? Just things happening. It's definitely crumbling down, and it's just how long they want to take with it. I think it's also they want to find out where they can then fit Morrison into it, because Miz, I think they could just still fit him in just doing the Miz TV every week or something. If they want to bring Maurice back properly, be doing that the whole time, then it's for Morrison. What do we do with him? Like we don't want him to just disappear into obscurity, because he's too good for that. He's too good on the mic. He's got a good character. Johnny Drip Drip is fantastic, even though I've stolen that name now.
I'm all for it on the basis that as long as Johnny Drip Drip does beat the Miz, because what brand are they again? I don't know why it's just disappeared from my mind. They're Raw.
I think they're Raw, yeah.
Yeah. So I could imagine Morrison going on having a match with maybe Sheamus or whoever does eventually dethrone Sheamus.
Yeah.
Or if there's a brand, if there's a draft anytime soon, maybe SmackDown, him versus Apollo, that would be a really good match. And it's weird because you're looking at that and I'm saying they have to put Morrison over Miz. And then you look at it and like we say, because Miz is so happy to do what the company want, he'll take a quick loss against Lashley. He'll take the loss against Priest, and then he'll take a loss against Morrison, and yet he'll still hold value in the company because of his mic skills. Like you say, Miz TV like always offers an opportunity.
Yeah.
Because if he goes out on a Miz TV segment and says something about like, I've been overlooked, I've blah blah blah, I'm the best in this company, blah, 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 and then somebody comes out and challenges him, I don't mind that, because actually I think it's a good way of getting a match, because quite often WWE find it quite difficult to get matches where there's no title on the line actually make them meaningful.
Yeah.
I think this TV has always been a good opportunity for them to do that, because like we said, this is the only match on the card, or even with the two matches that might be added, that will be non-title.
Yeah.
And so therefore, I think The Miz will always hold a place in WWE, and it'll be interesting to see who picks up that baton after eventually The Miz retires, leaves, whatever part-time basis, So that's where I stand. We'll move on to the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match, Dirty Dogs versus the Mysterios. So, as per usual, same sort of things. The build is that they've had a couple matches. Nobody's really got over the other. It's sort of gone one way, one each, and blah, blah, blah. That's kind of where the beef was. There's no real storytelling behind it or anything like that. I mean, the only thing WWE tried to push with this match is the fact that the Mysterios will be the first father and son tag champs in WWE history. So obviously that means they're trying to do that at some point in time, and I think it could be Backlash, but purely because I don't see many other title changes, if any. So I think it could be a Backlash, even though I would rather they kept on Dirty Dogs and gave them, like we've discussed, how titles should be held for a bit to give them a bit of gravitas, a bit of power within the company, a bit of value. So I would prefer them to hold on to the belts and maybe have some matches with other tag teams. I say other tag teams, it's quite difficult because there's no other tag teams that are really pushing on. So, but yeah, I think the Mysterios will come away with the win. I think it'll be a good match because everybody involved, well, apart from Dominic, everybody involved, I think, is brilliant. I mean, nothing against Dominic, but we've discussed it before how we think he should have gone down to NXT for a bit and learn, because especially when he's down there, he can learn from people like Matt Bloom. He can learn from people like Shawn Michaels, Triple H. So, but everybody else in that match really, I think Ziggler's always been underrated. I would love Ziggler to have another world title run, but it probably won't happen at this point. But yeah, good match, but Mysterios to win in my book.
Yeah, I can see the Mysterios win it. It's just the Dirty Dogs having this title reign. I don't know how long it feels like it's been a while, but you just keep on forgetting about it, because when they won it, I think it was just on an episode of SmackDown. It was just sort of like it just happened. They just won the belts, and they never defended it until that SmackDown versus Mania. SmackDown before Mania, and it's just, I don't know, it's just never felt like a legitimate title run. So put it on someone, a team that's actually proper legitimate will bring some sort of something back to the championship. But I also don't know if Ray and Dominic are the right team. They just don't. Dominic to me is just he's a dead character. His whole character is literally just like, oh, I'm the son of the legend Rey Mysterio. His on-mic work is just, I mean, I don't want to say it's terrible, but it has got so far to go. I cannot take him seriously at all. Whenever he tries to do a serious segment or something, it just looks like he's going to burst out laughing at any second.
Yeah,
he needs to start working at NXT.
you can tell he's trying, but he just doesn't look threatening in any way. He just seems like I wouldn't believe him if he said to me, if he stood in front of me with a gun and said, "I'm going to kill you," I wouldn't believe him. I would be like, "You probably won't." I don't think
I'm not going to do nothing. It's like, no, you're not. You're going to be like, yeah, fine.
I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man. But no, yeah, I agree with you. But like, even if they shift on to Mysterios, and like you've said, that are they even a credible tag team? But even if they were to put on a credible tag team, say the Street Profits, even when they had the belts, it wasn't interesting.
No.
Purely on the basis that they don't have tag teams that are interesting enough, or demand intrigue. Like, I'm all for. I know this is total other option, but when Breezango were a thing on the main roster, they were never pushed like they were something, And I would love for them to have another shot on the main roster. I don't see it happening, but I would love for them, because they're clearly not gonna. They're not trying to do anything with Breezango on NXT. I mean, recently I think they had a match with MSK, and MSK won. There was a bit of respect between them.
Yeah.
I think if they put them onto the main roster, I think some of the stuff they do character-wise is really funny. And I know maybe there's too much in that tag division with Street Profits doing that sort of thing, New Day doing that sort of thing. But I just think having an actual credible tag team like them would be good. I'm not saying it would be a soaring hit, but I think it would be potentially better than what's going on just now, because it's a tag team that's been together for a bit of time, have some chemistry, and both actually know how to work in WWE. And they can, even if they want to, they can take them up from NXT, make them less jokey and make them a bit more serious. Give them a bit, like, keep the jokes, but like give them a bit of serious edge and be like, we've been in this company for how many years? We know how this works. We know, like, that can literally be what they want to say. And they can still have a laugh.
Yeah. I mean, I want to pick up when you said Saw in there. When we're talking about legitimate tag teams, obviously you got the Street Profits, who were champions for quite a while, but now with Jimmy being back, there's the possibility of the Usos. Just, we said earlier, they got to figure out the storyline there with if Jimmy's going to align with Roman, if he's going to get, like, if they're going to end up being like, but the Usos are going to be under Roman. Whatever happens, if they end up still being a tag team, Jay and Jimmy either break off from Roman, or they end up just being this one big, that the family being holding all the titles that they can, then you could have such a good feud between the Street Profits and the Usos at some point. So I'm just kind of in my head, just when we're talking there, I'm just trying to think like really long term, into a point where either the Usos or the Street Profits are holding it, and I honestly wouldn't mind if they went 3, 4, 5 pay-per-views with just that one feud of them two teams, because it would bang. There's no other team around that has that sort of. They bring that energy in the matches. Like they would just be incredible. It's just be the fight of who has the better splashes the whole time.
Yeah,
and it would be amazing. So I don't even mind if they were to go for ages, 6 months with it, because it would just, every match would just top the next one.
Yeah, the only reason I overlooked the Usos having that is purely because I don't know how long they're going to take to sort out this feud. I think eventually it will happen, because there's obviously mention between Jay to Jimmy or Jimmy to Jay. I can't remember which one said to the other, but about getting gold around them. And I think it must have been Jay, because he was saying getting gold and then being family dressed in gold, So, yeah, it's on the cards. I think it would be great. I think that match would be up there. Like, that match takes me back to the last time I was interested in the tag division proper.
Yeah.
Which was, again, Usos versus New Day. And they played off that match for a couple of years, because they could always just bring it up and people would be like, oh, yes, this is a classic match. This is so good. Because those matches were so good. They were never the most talked about match on a pay-per-view, but they were always delivering a quality match. And to be honest, the matches that they were producing were that good. I'm amazed they didn't give them a main event on a pay-per-view. Because it would have been so cool to see tag titles main event pay-per-view. Because that, if anything was a match for that, it would be that. So the only way I can ever see tag match main eventing a pay-per-view with the tag titles online is if they get somehow New Day versus Usos again.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you say, Usos versus Street Profits would be brilliant.
Yeah.
100%.
What if they just because they are so hell-bent on destroying all tag teams they seem to at the moment, WWE. What if they were to just do like the women's one, just like get rid of Raw and SmackDown ones? I know they won't do it. This is just saying hypothetically, if they were to get rid of like having one for each brand and just having just one tag team scene, just one belt, then you could have such a good like triple threat between the Usos, Street Profits, and New Day. And I don't know, I can't think of another team that you could make it like an 8-man tag.
100%, because if they combine the belts, that would be the best thing. Because the match I wanted to say, or the team I wanted to be fighting with the teams on SmackDown for the belts was the Viking Raiders, because they're recently back, and when they were on the top, when they were at their best, they were quality. So the fact that they are back now, I think I would love the belts to be merged again. I don't think they'll do it. Like you said, it's hypothetical, but if they did, some of the matches they could put on, they'd have at least 4 teams that are credible. And with 4 credible teams, you can allow for a credible team versus a Mysterio or the Dirty Dogs, because then it makes them teams more credible because they're facing credible teams.
Yeah.
So, I think the merging of the titles would be the best thing, but they won't do it. They have too much pride.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
So therefore, they won't do it.
No. Also, I don't think I actually gave my prediction for the winner of that match. I think I'll also say the Mysterios. I think they'll do it. Then right, what? So then it's like what comes next? Are we just sticking with the 6 like definite confirmed ones, right?
6, and then at the end we'll touch on the 2. So maybe I don't know. I think the main event will be Bobby, Drew, and Braun.
Yeah, that should be the main event. Like they talk about Roman Reigns always being the main event and that the main eventer Jey Uso, but you're not going to put that over a triple threat. I
think next match, let's just look at the Universal. I don't think it'll be thrown in the card, but let's just look at the Universal Championship match, which is obviously Reigns versus Cesaro.
There's not a chance Cesaro's actually winning that. It's great that he's getting his opportunity. It's fantastic. He's actually getting a main. Well, it's not the main card. It could not be the main card. That's to be seen. But it's great that he's getting this opportunity at a top belt. But he's not winning it. He's not actually going to win it. He'll put up a decent enough fight, but he's not.
It would be a very interesting dynamic if he did, because it would probably be via Jimmy Uso intervention.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're teasing when Jimmy interfered. Well, Jimmy and Jay sort of interfered with Rollins' match with Cesaro, and that was why Cesaro has got his opportunity.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you say, it would be surprising. Surprising is an understatement. It would be bizarre if they gave Cesaro the belt.
Yeah.
Purely because a title change of that magnitude at Backlash would just be so standout. I mean, it would propel Cesaro to the moon, because everybody would be shocked. And maybe that's a good thing, but will they do it? I highly doubt it. I see this being Reigns winning, maybe through some tomfoolery, potentially Jimmy Uso deciding to side with his family. I don't know, but I think Reigns wins. Cesaro goes on to have another couple matches with Rollins, and then maybe somehow off the bat of that they do the Big E thing that I wanted and end up with Cesaro and Reigns at SummerSlam, or potentially Big E versus Reigns at SummerSlam. But who knows?
Well, I can see, like you're saying, a tomfoolery with Jimmy or Jay or something. I can actually see, like, if Jimmy doesn't align with Roman, could end up just having a clash of Jimmy versus Jay on the outside or something. If they're not going to put them together as a tag team, have them do that, have them sort of fight in their own fight, on the outside, with Paul Heyman being like, "What is happening right now?"
Maybe distract Reigns and then Reigns loses. I don't know.
Yeah. A really, really huge outside thing is, Daniel Bryan suddenly showing up again and being like, you told me I can't show up to SmackDown, but this ain't SmackDown. That's a huge.
No.
I know that this is on the same level as believing that CM Punk's going to come out at any pay-per-view. There's not a chance it's happening, but I'm still in my head thinking it.
I don't think it's CM Punk level. Maybe level with my Billy Kay Carmella WrestleMania long shot prediction. That probably level, because I could imagine Brian just turning up being like, it's not SmackDown, so
yeah, but like literally just being like, it's not SmackDown, so I could be here, but it's not happening.
I could imagine that, but no, unlikely. But I think we're both saying boot. Reigns win, probably a bit of messing about. Either out of this, either Jimmy's more sided with Reigns or more sided against Reigns. I don't think it'll be a definite I am with or I am against.
I would love to see him sort of be like, like actually have a definite like, no, I'm not going to side with you, and then go win Money in the Bank. Like that would be sick. He goes wins Money in the Bank, and then the whole year he's just walking around like, what are you saying, Oos? Yeah, I can take that title off you anytime. Like that would be sick.
To be fair, you make an interesting point there. It does sound quite cute.
Right, that's just like that whole thing. Like he's just there, like, yeah, I could beat you up, Jay, and I'm coming for your title, Roman. I'm the head of the table.
It's the fact you said what you say, Oos.
It's just you can hear it, can't you? You can hear him just walking out. You're like, hey, Oos.
Nah, 100%. That's what I want to happen now. I want him to go win Money in the Bank one of the days. Because all this Oos stuff without that was just a bit too much. Well, it's more when Jay was doing it. Jay was going over the top, just ranting to himself in matches, going, "What you say, Oos?
Yeah."
But no, I like the Jimmy walking about with the Money in the Bank.
He just changed the briefcase that just says for Oos as well.
Every time Reigns wins at a pay-per-view, he just comes out and goes, "What you say, Oos?"
Just gets a shirt with it on.
Is it my time, Oos? No, okay. So I think we've got over that fairly. We both said Reigns, and I think we both be right. If we're not right, I'm happy to take the L.
Oh yeah, I'm very happy to take that L. I'd love to see Cesaro holding it.
Sort of happy. I mean, I do like Reigns as champ. I think it's interesting. I think it's produced a lot of good storylines, like the Cesaro one, like Bryan one, like the Usos one.
Yeah.
So
the eventual Seth Rollins one that will happen at some point, which will be incredible.
Oof, that will be brilliant. Yeah, no, they have to have that for a championship. So no,
for sure.
Right. I think we'll say the Rollins championship one. Yeah.
Yeah, the stupid one to me.
Yeah, lead up to it has just been a bit weird to me. Obviously, Asuka had her rematch on Raw after Mania, and then did Charlotte get involved in that? Was that what?
Yeah, she got involved like after like 10 minutes of just botches from them. It's just Charlotte came out and I don't know I can't remember I think she threw Rhea into the steps at one point, but I can't remember exactly. That was the first thing she did. Yeah, she got involved because after she cut that promo first earlier in the show when she came back, and it was like, okay, well, she's going to get involved in this somehow, and she has.
Sonya was just like, oh yeah, you can be added to the match.
Yeah, literally just Sonya's Deville coming out like, yeah, right. I don't actually have this power to do this, but I'm going to say I do. You're in the match now.
Yeah, I mean, we discussed it at some point earlier, maybe potentially Sonya having her own motives, and I would quite like that. But I don't know. It just seems like lazy storytelling. That just like you say, they have Charlotte and they just think we have to throw in the title match somehow. You know what? Sonya's in with what's the boy's name?
Adam Pearce.
Adam Pearce, yeah. Sonya's in with Adam Pearce. Just let her add her for the reason. So if there's a long-term reason for that, I'll correct myself. I'll stand up and I'll hold my hands up and say, you know what, WWE, that was some nice stuff. Maybe Sonya just does this to put Charlotte on a pedestal on a stage and then knock her off it. I don't know. But your thoughts on the actual match now that we've got it. Not that we needed it, but we've got it.
It's weird one. I don't think Rhea's losing it. I think she's still going to retain. Saying that though, can 1,000,000% see them put the belt on Charlotte. Like I can see them just for shits and giggles, just being like, all right, well, let's give her another title reign. Like it's just, I don't know why really Asuka's in it, because like I said, she's had her rematch. I think they've just done it because Charlotte got involved in that rematch. So technically, it wasn't really a proper legit one, but it still happened. But I'm really just not sold on this at all. They should have just done Rhea versus Charlotte on its own, because it should have been that rematch of last year when Charlotte beat Rhea for the NXT title. It should have been that. It should have been like a whole big thing between them two, where Rhea's really like, no, I'm not having this happen again, and Charlotte's like, oh, I'm still better than you. Remember that. But
I think now that you mentioned that, yeah, neither, just so everybody knows, neither of us are saying we would want Rhea versus Charlotte with this build-up. Obviously, everybody would want Rhea versus Charlotte, but like you say, they had that potential from the NXT Women's Championship when Rhea lost it last Mania, and they've not even played into that at all.
Yeah, there's been no mention of it. That should have been a huge part.
That says to me that, yeah, I'm the same book as you. I think Rhea will defend it. I could see Charlotte winning it and not just being a stupid decision.
Yeah.
But I think they're maybe a bit more aware now of like, hold up, look at Charlotte's number. She's getting too close to that. And like, she's still got a good amount of her career to go. So I think they'll be a bit aware and they'll go, you know what, let's keep it on Rhea.
Yeah.
Give her some credibility. I mean, she already has credibility. I think she's sick, but to win against Asuka and Charlotte would give her a nice little edge. And yeah, down the line, bring this match back. Not this match, but Charlotte versus Rhea. And the thing I was going to bring up when I said earlier about talking about the women's roster when we were talking about this was the fact that the rumors, I think they came up today or yesterday, of Zelina Vega making a return already.
Yeah, I saw that earlier as well, yeah.
So, on the basis that Andrade has left WWE, does not look like return to WWE as of just now, what does that mean for Zelina Vega? Does she go to NXT as a women's performer? But I think their roster's too stacked for her. Does she go on to Raw? And I'm not saying challenge for titles, because Rhea versus Zelina Vega just don't.
It doesn't really sell you on that, does it?
But I think she could work really well with Asuka potentially.
Yeah,
I know she had a match with Asuka for the Raw Women's title at some point, and it was just like a what do you call it? It was a demolition job from Asuka. But I think she's not in the wrestling business for no reason. She knows how to wrestle.
Yeah,
and I think her mic skills are great. You know what I mean? It's sort of like an Alexa Bliss. I'm not saying she's as good in ring as Alexa Bliss, but Alexa Bliss has the mic skills, the acting skills, the in-ring skills. If Zelina Vega ups her in-ring skills, like it's being people are saying she has, then I wouldn't mind her working through the Raw Women's roster, or maybe even the SmackDown Women's roster, and getting a Women's Championship match. I mean, because in my opinion, I think she would go Raw, because I think she can work through the roster, build credibility, and then her facing Rhea. I'm not saying she looks like she has a chance against Rhea, but to me, it looks like she has a bit more of a chance against Rhea than she does against Bianca. That's just my opinion.
I think either way, with either one of the two, she's not really looking like a realistic win it from them, unless she is like so good in ring now, or she comes up with this sneaky sort of way to. It's not like the Sami Zayn sort of way of wrestling now. Now it's just sort of a bit more, not run away cowardish, but it's strategize. Like she's a lot smarter than the other. Where Rhea and Bianca are just like big smash, beat up. She's just like a smart character, thinks about all her moves.
That, or a little bit of an Eddie Guerrero, maybe just like a bit of lie, cheat, steal, just in the right place at the right time. Maybe she makes a bit of a deal with Sonya Deville or something. There's possibilities. I mean, they have to do something with her. They have to do something with her. If they're bringing her back, there's a reason, because they don't have Andrade, so therefore they have to either be working on her in-ring ability, or she's better than she was, and they will do something with her. Other than that, why would they bring her back? Because the reason they let her go was because her views on what was it? I can't remember what it was.
Was it the streaming stuff, wasn't it? With the stuff on Twitch?
Yeah, she had views on that in disagreements with WWE. So obviously there must be some resolution to that if they're going to re-sign her.
Yeah.
I mean, it is rumors just now, so it could be true, but it could just be lies and all this is nonsense. But normally when this thing comes up in the way it has, it would suggest that there is some element of truth to it. So yeah, it's a weird one, but I just thought we should mention it because it interested me.
Yeah, and it interests me as well. I was going to mention it at some point because there's that, and there's a story I saw about Bray Wyatt as well, and why he's not been on TV. Or obviously that's not anything to do with now. I can talk about that later. But some seeing Selena coming back, I was like, I wouldn't mind it. I never actually thought that she was a bad wrestler either. Like, I didn't think she was the best, but I didn't think that she was terrible. But I just think like where her mic skills were so good, and she was really good at building up Andrade. They just put her with that the whole time because it was just too good. And I don't want them to specifically like just put her back into that role of just being a manager for someone, especially because I can't really think of who she could do that for now. I wouldn't want them to just be like, oh, just because you had what's his name, Angel Garza before, go back with him. Like I don't want to do that. But if they could find someone right for her to do it with, then by all means go for it.
Oh yeah, no. Put it this way. Her in-ring skills were not bad by the least. I would much rather watch her in ring than watch Tamina, and Tamina's getting pushed for the women's tag titles. So, if you compare it to that, then you know what? Let's just give Selena Vega a Raw Women's Championship match, because I'd rather watch that than Tamina stumble about the ring for a good bit of time. And it's a shame because I think Tamina used to be quite good, but clearly her age is playing a part because she can't even push off the top rope now. But we're getting distracted. We're getting distracted now because we should talk about Tamina. Somehow Tamina always gets in the conversation, and do you know why? Because there's nobody meaner than Tamina.
Nobody.
We'll move on. And we'll talk about the SmackDown Women's Championship match. So that's Bianca versus Bayley. Obviously, Bianca beat Sasha at Mania, and then Bayley and Bianca have always had a bit of a crossover. Before Mania, they did not have a match before Mania. They did the athlete challenge around the ring. I remember that, where they had to pick up Otis, and Bayley sort of like half-arsed it and didn't pick up Otis. But so yeah, they've crossed paths, and it's a match. I'm very happy to see it. I hope they don't play into the sort of Sami Zayn. I hate calling it Sami Zayn realm, because Sami Zayn shouldn't be the wrestler that just cowers away from fights. He's too good for that.
Oh yeah.
But I'm just hoping they don't put Bayley too much into that. I hope they give them a good match, and Bianca will win. I'm almost 100% sure in that, but I think it'll be a good match. Credibility for Bianca. Interested to see where Bayley goes after this, because we haven't seen Banks since Mania, and even if she comes back, I don't really want to see Bayley versus Banks again.
No.
So where does that leave Bayley? Who else is available on the roster? I mean, Carmella, but
it could just like have them do a program or something, because Carmella actually picked up a win again last week. Have them doing something. It's just where the women's division, especially on SmackDown, when there's not enough time, it just doesn't feel like there's enough time for them to just do matches that aren't for titles in the women's division. So something like Carmella and Bayley, where there's just no actual anything there. You're just not going to be seeing that. You'll see that on like the SmackDowns maybe, but it's just going to feel they're not going to push it or anything. They're not going to do anything. It just feels meaningless. So it's a shame that like because Bailey hasn't been wrestling much at all since she dropped the title. Sasha's also not been back, and it's just there's just that huge hole in the women's division. That sounds really bad to say, but it's what it is. There's just this huge gap there. That's just like, if you're not fighting for either the tag team, which just seems pointless anyway, or the top belt, then you're just sort of around. You're just being paid to just see catering.
Nope, I agree with you because the thing with the tag title is that they have some teams that are actually okay. I think the Riot Squad are head and shoulders above everybody else. When they had them, the Iconics were a good tag team. This is the thing. The Iconics on their own, I don't think were great.
No.
Right? I think Billie Kay made good stuff character-wise. I think she did that. But in ring,
it was hilarious.
I don't think either of them are good enough in ring on their own. As a tag team, I think that they have a chemistry. I don't think they were amazing, but you know what I mean? Riot Squad versus Iconics, I'd happily watch that.
Oh yeah, definitely. It still makes no sense to me why they broke them up and then why they decided to release the two of them, the Iconics. Because like you look at the women's division now for tag team, and it's sort of like in the men's where you just there's not many, if there's even any more than just the Riot Squad, like actual legitimate teams there. Like you got the put together team of the champions right now, or been for a while, of Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, who I don't really know if they actually like each other now. They still every once in a while remember, oh wait, they're meant to hate each other. Are they just thrown together?
I think they're teasing a rift with them as well.
Yeah. You've also got the Tamina and Natalia. Like they don't even have a name. It's just them two. They've sort of just come out of nowhere.
They'll probably give them the name the old girls or something.
The old girls. It's just it was stupid to let the Iconics go because they were fantastic. People loved them. The fans loved the Iconics, and I loved Billie Kay when she was doing her stuff. Her character work was hilarious. The whole CV bit, her resume, that was hilarious to me. Every time she came on, I was like, hell yeah, Billie's here. And she's like, look at my resume on the back, the headshot. I was like, oh god, I love it.
Oh, Billie, you star. No, but you're not wrong. And the thing is, and again, it's another thing that NXT have done better. We were saying how the new women's tag champs of NXT are Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. And whilst I would have preferred Shotzi and Ember to hold the belt for longer to give them some credibility, I'm actually enjoying that match. I enjoyed the match because it was that good. I'm interested in women's tag titles. I mean, where do they go now? I imagine it'll be a rematch. And then after that, I don't know how deep their tag teams go because they could if they wanted to say Raquel and what's her name, Dakota Kai. They could go for that again, even though Raquel's women's champion. Just let them go for the tag belts as well. Why not? They haven't had to do much NXT, and yet they're still doing it better than the main roster.
Yeah,
it's annoying at this point. And you were saying earlier, we bring it up every time we're on the podcast, the gap between the women's championship, the Raw or the SmackDown Women's Championship, and the rest of the card, and or the roster, sorry. And we say it every time, but there needs to be a mid-card title. We'll keep asking for it till we'll get it. It's a petition.
We should change the name of the podcast to the mid-card title, please. WWE.
I was about to say, how many podcasts is this now? We must have done enough. I think let's say 5. Let's say 5 times. This is the 5th time we're pleading for the women's mid-card championship. And every podcast from now on, I will sit here and I will say, give us the women's mid-card championship, because eventually I know Vince McMahon loves this podcast, right?
Oh, of course, yeah. Of course.
He loves the British uni students doing a podcast.
Yeah, who doesn't? Who doesn't?
So I'm going to sit here, I'm going to say, Vince, my mate, my buddy, I know you want to give me what I want, so just do it. right? You don't need to listen to other outside pressures. Just listen to me. I've got you. It'll be a good business decision, and it'll be great.
It's what is needed. It is what's missing. And you know what else is missing? Oh, in the middle advertisement break and more reaching out. Chicken World, hit me up. There's no Connor here, but he wants the Woodgates or his hairspray beer. I can't remember what it is. Excelsior, that's it. Get us with that stuff. Get us our sponsorships. Vince, hit them up.
Right, yeah. Vince, just sort everything out for us, please. My guy.
Vince just there like, oh yeah, I know Chicken World. A couple times we've been on the road to England. I've been Chicken World. Hell yeah, banging food.
The America have heaps of Chicken Worlds here at your face. Right. We'll move on to the main event, which is going to be Lashley versus Drew versus Strowman. Build up to this again. I actually, the build up to this has been okay for me, I think. And so it's been that Lashley's the champion. Drew thinks he deserves a chance. Braun thinks he deserves a chance. And from that point on, it's sort of been, they've had matches with Bobby, and either Drew would be facing Bobby and Strowman would screw him over, and then vice versa, or they'd have a match with somebody else and the other one screws the other one over. It's essentially been like, I want it, no, I want it.
Yeah.
And they've been screwing each other over by doing that. And then this last Raw, they've let Braun stand tall above Lashley and McIntyre after beating that up. So they're sort of saying, look, Strowman's strong, he's going to win. Obviously, he's not. It's going to be Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
And that's how I want it to be. If it's Drew, that's the worst scenario. If it's Braun, I can live with that. And that's purely because Drew, you know, he doesn't need to win it. You need to let him go down, have matches. Like we've said, these matches that he can have with people that aren't for championships, but yet he can still go on pay-per-view. That's what he needs to do. And if they put the championship back on him now, they're messing up, because at this moment in time, he's still got the fans on side. I was unsure because you know, recently I'm sort of like, well, it's starting to annoy me how like overpowered he is. It's like Mandy or Varane on FIFA.
Oh yeah.
But, so you eventually get sick of that. But it was like that. But finally they're kind of pulling the brakes on it, seemed, and then they put him in another match, and it's like, oh. But hopefully they're going to do that, because like I said, I thought the fans were turning on him, but then he's recently voted the 2K22 cover star, the men's cover star, and Sasha was the women's. I was quite happy with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so on that basis, obviously the fans are still on side with him. So yeah, the worst possible outcome from this match would be McIntyre, purely because they need to keep him with fans on side. Strowman, like I said, can live with it, because I mean, I don't mind that. Like, I'd rather keep Bobby with the belt so he can have a meaningful title reign.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be the worst thing on earth to see Strowman get his second. I mean, the last one was the Universal, wasn't it? So he'd actually get his first WWE championship, and then they class them both as like maiden titles, so it would be his second championship reign. So yeah, Bobby to win is my prediction. I think it'll be a good match. Probably Strowman and McIntyre. I can imagine it being that they get Bobby out the ring at some point towards the end, and then they start scrapping, sort of just kill each other. One of them, probably Drew, will Claymore Strowman, but it could be a Strowman slam, whatever it's called, and then off the bat of that, Bobby comes in and gets Hurt Lock on, and gets a dub.
Yeah, it's the inclusion of Braun to me was a bit like, I don't know. I don't know how he actually made that jump from beating Shane and that being enough to go to the straight, you know, top card, like top of the card, will fight for the
Shane
title.
McMahon's the best in the world, though. Remember that.
Shane McMahon was dumping green
He
goo on
won,
him.
he won the Saudi trophy, the best in the world. Just he is the best in the world. Just let him, you know.
I will not. I will not partake in that. No, he is trash. Now, Braun, it feels a bit more like he's just the scapegoat to sort of be the one to take the pin for whoever wins it. Like you said, I hope it's Bobby too, just because I love Bobby. And Drew is the worst possible outcome for it. I don't think I ever actually really got fully behind Braun as Universal Champion, partly because he wasn't meant to be, but also because he's just never. He had his opportunity a couple of years ago to win it, and he messed up then, and it just feels like he's still not actually fully. He never actually fully felt ready for it. I don't know if he still is now. He's got a better character than he did last year now, but I don't know if he's actually still ready for it.
Do you know what? Maybe WWE are playing 5D chess, because we said that the Shane Strowman match at Mania was stupid, and it was because it was all about Shane calling Strowman stupid.
Yeah,
and like you said, I agree with you. I wasn't really backing his first Universal Championship reign. I never felt like supporting him because he was too much talking and too much nice, which just felt wrong.
Yeah.
But weirdly, this Strowman, I actually, if he won it, I'd prefer Bobby to win it. But if he won it, I'd be okay with it. I'm actually okay with his character right now. And I think his inclusion in the match, like you said, it's a bit weird, that jump, even though Shane McMahon is technically the best in the world according to Saudi Arabia. But like you say, that jump is weird. But at the same time, it stopped us from having a Lashley McIntyre match. And when I think about what I would rather have, a Lashley McIntyre one-on-one or a triple threat with Strowman, I'd rather have the triple threat, because if you're having them one-on-one, McIntyre and Lashley, it's just the same build as Mania, and they would need Lashley to win again. But then at that point, you're kind of just nerfing Drew completely.
Yeah.
Whether that being a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know, but I don't think it would be the best of things for him to take 2 losses back to back against Lashley, both times being in the hurt lock and not tapping out. I mean, if he gets put in the hurt lock here and doesn't tap out, it's different, because like I said, if it's a scenario that I've suggested of him and Braun getting Lashley at the ring at some point, him hitting Braun with a Claymore and then Lashley putting the hurt lock, it's slightly different and it doesn't feel as repetitive. But I think Lashley has to win. Obviously, it could be Strowman somehow, but yeah, as long as it's not McIntyre, I'm happy. I mean, I've just looked at this article here, and they're mentioning the fact that Lashley and MVP, they hired, I guess, they obviously didn't actually hire, but hired Mason T-Bar. I don't know if they still go by Retribution or whether they go by ex-members of Retribution, or whether they do go by like Gimp Mask Gang. I don't know.
They got demasked a little while ago, didn't they? So are they? I don't know. Are they just themselves again now? I don't know. It's going to be Dominic Dijakovic and what's the other one's name? It was that
boy from commentary, Dion Madden.
That's it, Dion Madden. The last time we saw him was getting F5 through the table by Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. Oh, that was time ago.
Yeah,
they're not the normal selves again, because I don't think they can turn Dion Madden back into Dion Madden. I think he has to say at least a variation on Mace. But I think we've said all we have to say on that one, unless there's anything else you want to bring up.
I don't know. The one thing that I wanted to point, pick up on from what you were saying, is if they had just done another one-on-one Lashley versus McIntyre, then that would have then be Drew was winning the title again, for sure. I would have bet everything I have, all my money I have, all £20 of the money I have on Drew winning that. I'm really broke. Vince, please.
Vince, back the podcast.
Vince, hit me up. Give me some money, please. Yeah, Drew would have won that for sure if it was just a one-on-one. So yeah, it's much better being a triple threat, even though I'm not 100% on Braun. But what I will say is, I think there is probably a huge part of this that has got to do, and this comes back to what I said earlier about why Bray Wyatt's not been about, is the fact that he's just not there. Because I saw an article that said that he's not been, he's not been in the right headspace ever since John Huber, so Luke Harper passed away. Because apparently, even though like everyone like really close to John at the time when he passed away learned about how it was, it was fatal, it was going to be terminal in like a couple of weeks before. Apparently, it really affected Bray when it happened, and it's still affecting him now. And that's why WrestleMania, the match ended up being so short and was changed, because it was meant to be something else. It was probably going to be Bray going over, because it should have been, but they changed it up because he's just not in the right headspace, and it's the reason why we haven't seen him since. Like that was the first time, because he's just not been
I can imagine
there.
that.
Yeah,
because he was so close to John Huber, so I can imagine that. And also, I'm not trying to say this is what happened or not, but now you're saying that, because I didn't actually see this article, but now you're saying that maybe it plays in, because when we were watching WrestleMania, we were all saying, "Oh, he's lost weight, he looks slimmer," but I'm not saying that it was because of John Huber's passing, but maybe he hasn't meant to lose weight. He has, just because grief affects people in different ways, and maybe part of that is he's not eating, or so obviously we don't know if that definitely is what happened, if it isn't, but if he is struggling, wish him all the best, because he is a great guy. He's a great professional wrestler, and more importantly, he clearly cares about his mates. So that's something I always like.
Yeah, that was when I read the article. I was like, okay, that really explains a whole lot, because that would have that must have taken a huge toll on him. I saw as well when about his weight, like you're saying, everyone was like, wow, he seems to have lost a lot. Apparently, Vince wasn't actually happy with that, with how he was looking. So I don't know if that part's true or not, but we're wishing the best completely, because it is that sort of thing that's happened is tough. And as much as we love the Fiend, we love Bray Wyatt, all of that in the Firefly Funhouse, everything like that, we'd much rather him be in a much better headspace to be carrying on than how he is obviously at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. Right. We'll move on, and we'll talk about the proposed matches that we don't actually know if are going to happen, may or may not happen. So the first one of those is the Intercontinental Championship match, Cruz versus Big E, the rematch. And the first thing I want to pick up on is not actually to do with them two, more to do with our new friend Commander Aziz, and the fact that this article said formerly Dabba-Kato, but also formerly, right, and I don't remember him ever being called this, but formerly Babatunde. When was he called Babatunde?
Babatunde? No idea.
Apparently he was formerly called Babatunde. That's what it says here. I don't remember ever calling him Babatunde.
Oh, because that's his real name. His real name is Babatunde.
Oh, his real name is Babatunde, is it?
Ah, yeah. He's got a mad name. He's Polish as well. What?
He's Polish.
He's a Polish professional wrestler and former professional football player, as in like he played for the Vikings.
Oh, I was about to say, what, like football's in our football?
No, God,
no. That's a huge center forward, that.
Yeah, he would be mad. I reckon he'd be banging as well. Just stick him up front, finishes everything.
I reckon he has a wicked left foot, absolute wand. We don't talk about football just now, but yeah, that's the first thing I wanted to pick up on, just purely because I didn't know where that Babatunde came from. But yeah, so Cruz versus Big E. If this match does happen, I only see it going one way, and that's Apollo Crews winning.
Yeah.
Because if they give it back to Big E immediately, it just nerfs Apollo Crews and also Commander Aziz immediately. Yeah. Every chance we see a Nigerian Nell in here, I could see that at the end. I'm not saying he interferes, does that, and then Crews wins. I mean, Crews probably winning clean. I think that'll be brilliant for him. It probably won't be clean, but as clean as they can make it, I think it'll be beneficial for him. And then afterwards, Big E sort of still having a go, and then Nigerian now. Yeah, that's all I really have to say for it, because I don't think there has been a huge amount of build for this one. It's just sort of like Big E saying, "I want another shot because he done me dirty." So yeah, that's just all I have to say on it if it does happen.
I would like it if, like you said, like he wants another shot, like a legitimate shot. If Apollo just would literally just said to Commander Aziz, like, "Do not get involved." And
I'd love that.
Yeah, he literally just goes to him like, "Don't worry, I got this." Even though like he shouldn't have it, because he did technically have the loss at WrestleMania. Like Big E had that one, and that's when Commander Aziz came in, like Nigerian nailed him. That sounds wrong too. I'm just I'm not saying it right today. Anyway, yeah, he basically beat him for Apollo. So it'd be cool if he actually could pick up a clean win over Biggie without the help of Commander Aziz.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like it can't happen because he basically lost at WrestleMania. It just seems like, if they can do something like this, I don't know if this has got a stipulation to it. If it's just a straight up match, then anything can happen in that, even if it's like it's going to be a distraction finish, actually, isn't it? It's not going to be a Commander Aziz finish, like coming in and doing something. It's going to be their favorite thing this year, which is distraction finish. It's going to be Biggie going and looking at Aziz, being like, "What are you doing?" And it's going to be surprise roll up or something.
To be fair, if he stands in the apron, he's a very tall man, so it would distract me. I would think, "Whoa, why is there suddenly a tree outside the ring?"
Yeah, that's fair.
No, I think you're right. I think I would love for him to say to Commander Aziz, like, "I've got this," and then just back himself and win.
Yeah,
I think it'd be brilliant. Especially after obviously that they did have their title rematch on SmackDown, and Aziz pulled Biggie from the ring, and yeah, they did their business on him. So I would love that to happen. I think it'd be brilliant. I think, obviously, if Cruz beats him clean, I think it just gives a new dimension to Cruz. I think it saves him from Sami Zaynism, even though they're sort of maybe building to a match with Sami Zayn. It saves him from that because it shows he can just do it himself if he wants to. I mean, and unless there's anything else you want to say on that, I think that's all we have to say, because Cruz should win, and I think even if it happens through a screwy way, I do think I prefer Cruz to stay champion. But like we said, we'd prefer for Cruz to just tell Aziz, "My guy, I got this."
Yeah.
And then just go and do the business.
The only thing I'll say about it is they need more time than they did last time, because they went for only 8 minutes in that match of WrestleMania. They need 10 plus to be able to tell a proper story. But I love Big E. I'd love to see him as champion, but I want him that top belt. So him losing, I don't mind. Apollo's good enough with the belt. It's still kind of a funny character to me, him doing the accent, but I'm backing it still. I like Commander Z. So let them do their thing for a while.
I've adjusted to the accent now. There was a promo on SmackDown when they had that 10-man tag, and at that point, I actually it was literally that moment I was like, I'm okay with this, because it was him, Corbin. Aziz wasn't involved. I thought it was strange to brought Corbin in and didn't just shove in Commander Aziz, but it was him, Corbin, Zayn. Who else is on their team?
What they called the American Alpha, whatever they called.
Yeah.
American Alpha. Yeah, the Alpha Academy. That's it.
Alpha Academy. American Alpha was the
old one
with Jason Jordan.
Yeah,
but I did like that promo because it was he said, "We've got the tactics of Gable, we've got the power of Otis, and we've got the leadership of King Coban, and we've got." Just sort of said that what Sammy did, which I find quite funny. At that point, I was like, "Yeah, about this character." But the other match we might potentially have, I should say, I don't think we'll get both these matches. I think it'll be one or the other, and I think the more likely one's probably Cruz and thingy bob.
Mm.
But purely because if Sheamus and Humberto was to happen, I think they would have said it on Raw.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other match could happen. United States Championship, Sheamus versus Carrillo. Shouldn't spend long on it because I don't think it'll happen. But if it does happen, Sheamus is winning.
Definitely,
Yeah. I think the only positive I can see out of this is the fact that if this happens, Sheamus should get an absolute pile driver or bro kick with Humberto, because Humberto could sell a flip quite easily.
Yeah.
I would love that. So that's all I have to say, really. I don't really want to say much more. I think I like what they're doing with Sheamus. I think that's what we can talk about. I like what they're doing with Sheamus in the open challenge. I think I love that. It's sort of taken back to Cena doing that, but in Sheamus' own way, because he's still holding that heel element of like, it won't be for the championship though. It'll be an open challenge, but it's not for the championship. I like that. It gives him an edge. So I like what he's doing. I can't wait for it to be, somebody who could really battle him for it. Because once it is, then that's when it gets on pay-per-view, and that's when I start going, oh, this is a match. This is a match. But yeah, if this match happens, Sheamus win.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, I don't think it's happening because I saw somewhere, I think Carrillo picked up a head injury. It might have been a slight concussion. Apparently, he is fine, but more than likely, if it was like a head injury, especially if it was a concussion, he's definitely not wrestling, because the way that WWE acts around those is they're very, very cautious with them. But yeah, no, he just it's a good open challenge, and he just needs Sheamus someone to give him a proper battle. So if that means dropping Drew down, losing here, and then dropping him down into that would then elevate that title to sort of like that could be main card fights, having them two fighting.
I would love that. I would love that if they do that. Give him a couple, just above Carrillo, right? Just up it a couple times next to pay-per-view delay pass, then drop Drew down, let him beat Drew, and then what they do, right? I keep saying SummerSlam. I don't know how many pay-per-views there is between now and SummerSlam, so I don't actually know.
Yeah.
But keep doing this till SummerSlam. Have Drew like the pay-per-view before, or maybe two pay-per-views before SummerSlam, and then bring back Keith Lee versus Sheamus, SummerSlam, US title, because they have that rivalry that brewed a while ago and never really got a climax.
That's just too long to keep Keith Lee out though, because he was putting those cryptic tweets out anyway, like I think yesterday, so like hinting that he's going to be coming back soon.
But we were saying that before Mania. That's what I mean. We keep saying it too long, but we were saying it before Mania. And he's still here.
It's ridiculous that he's still out. Like I just want him back because he is so good. And his last match was, I think it was his last match, the one with Drew on that Raw Legends night, and that was a fantastic match. But yeah, that would be good. SummerSlam, that's where he wins his first title on the main roster against Sheamus, because that would be a good rivalry. My personal, what I want to see from the title fights, SummerSlam, would be so Drew comes down, fights Sheamus, wins whenever they have their one, and then at SummerSlam, I want the reunion of 3MB. I want Drew versus Jinder Mahal with what's his name, Heath Slater as a special guest referee. I want 3MB.
WWE now. He ain't coming back to be a referee.
He's gonna come back. He's gonna referee that match, and then what's he gonna do? Oh, dodgy finish. He wins it. What? What's this? Heath Slater's just messed them all up, and now he's the United States champion. Can't even happen, but it's happening. That's what I'm saying.
Something's happened to you now. Now you're throwing out these. After we brought up that Billy Kay Carmella, just throwing out these random ones. First is the Bryan return, which is sort of imaginable. Now you're doing this. This is bottom of the barrel stuff.
It's happening. It's happening. 3MB. Jinder's just come back. He's big. He's looking strong. He's got these two new boys next to him. He's going to come along. Him versus Drew at some point. That's definitely going to happen. And then Heath Slater's going to come along like, I'm a dad. I just win the title
because I'll entertain it, right? I'll entertain it and pretend this is possible. And if it does happen, if it were to happen, right? This is the reason why it wouldn't. Is because if that actually happened, do you think anybody would actually be hyped about it?
I would be so hyped.
A few weeks ago.
Seeing them three now, like you look at what 3MB were back then, where they were just like, they're just kind of guys.
Yeah, they were nothing.
Yeah, they were nothing. Now you look at them, 2 out of 3 are WWE champion, former champions. One's a 2-time champion, and you look at them, they're scary big now. I remember seeing Jinder Mahal on Raw on Monday. I was like, damn, that guy's a bloody monster now. Drew Also's got a mean kick on him. He's got that mean Claymore kick. I want Heath Slater to come back as big as Eddie goddamn Hall. Okay. And them three have a huge match. I'd be gassed.
You know what? Do you know what I was going to say? The only way I would want it to happen is if Heath Slater gets absolutely jacked.
Yeah.
And not huge. If he does, then I'm with you. Yeah. Just give me a triple threat for whatever. Just tell you what, give me a triple bad threat just for the right of being the best VMB member. That would do.
There's no belt involved. It's just like who is actually the best?
Heath Slater comes back and he goes, I got kids, and my kids say that I'm the best 3MB member ever. And then Jinder comes out with this posse of, I can't remember their names now, and he comes out and he goes, no, I'm the best 3MB member. And then Drew comes out and goes, listen here, you wee jobbies. I am the best 3MB member. And then they have a match for that, and Heath Slater wins just because
Heath wins. I back in Heath all the way in that match.
Yeah.
Man, that's dream scenarios right there. I don't care for any other dream matches. I don't care for.
I'm going to throw even more. Yeah, that's what they're saying, right? They do the three of them come out, and do you know what? Do you know what happens after that?
What happens after that?
R-Truth comes out and goes, I'm the best member of 3MB. And it's like an R-Truth funny moment. That is some Vince. Vince.
Come on, Vince. I know we know you're hearing it.
Vince,
you want to do it.
My guy, you want this. That's the sort of creativity they want in WWE. That's all I'm saying.
I think they should just hire us as creative because we'd sort that out. We'd be like we don't even need much sorting out. Just be like, Heath, jack yourself up. We don't care how, just do it. And this is what's happening.
Yeah, do you know what? Tell you what. Vince, right? Man to man to man, right? Because it's me and Johnny. So maybe it's man and man to man.
Right? I don't want to be man and man. I don't think we should be known as that. That sounds a bit sus,
Okay. The boys to Vince, yeah.
I'll take that, yeah.
Let's I don't think it's much better, but we'll take it. Take this as our application, yeah, because some of the stuff we've thrown out tonight is absolute gold dust, yeah. And that's how good we are. I just threw in a pun about gold dust. That's how good we are. So take this as our application and just send us to the moon, as Cameron Grimes would say.
Yeah, this is coming off the top of our heads right now. It's just bam, happen. One thing, that's all you need. Vince, all you need to do is just chuck a name at us. We've got a whole 3 months, like 4, 5, 6, 10 pay-per-views. We could have your whole year of pay-per-views sorted out through one name.
Do you know what, Tommy? Do you know what? I think this is the best end we've ever had to a podcast, and I feel bad that Connor's not here for it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe does that play into this? Are we?
We're going to have a triple threat. SummerSlam is going to be the best 3MB member, and then there's going to be the best Mike in the Middle Wrestling podcast member. Who's the best?
Yeah.
We get like that.
To be fair, like I said, the end of this podcast has been, when if we were in the YouTube game, that would be clickbait at its best.
Oh yeah,
Vince McMahon should hire us, or our application for Vince. That would be the title.
I'd be calling like if we had like a proper big following. I'd be like some sort of a convention or something this year. We set up a wrestling ring. The three of us will go. We'll have that fight. We don't need WWE. We just need an audience.
No, 100%. I've been getting ripped.
I've actually been gym. I forgot to today, but I do go gym. Start getting on wrestling. I'll pop back home. I know there's a wrestling gym near me. Unfortunately, it's in Portsmouth, but it's one anyway. I'll go. I'll bring my sick bags, but I'll train there.
And then you know what? Actually, we should say this as well. We're not just limiting ourselves to Vince and WWE.
Oh no,
This is
definitely
not
not.
saying that this is just good business. If you're a valuable asset, you're not going to limit yourself to one pathway. Cody, you hear me?
Cody's definitely listening. I know he's listening for
Yeah,
sure.
Tony Khan, you listening?
Yeah, they'll definitely be listening out. Tony
Impact
and Cody, they're just there.
Impact Wrestling, you listening?
Like your belt's Impact. Let me get something. IWGP. Give me some New Japan. Get me out
Lucha
there.
Underground? No, not Lucha Underground. No.
I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. Whatever Andrade's doing, we'll join there.
Right.
We'll just start the new WCW. Let's go.
Right. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Unless there's anything else you want to say, Johnny.
No, it's just been, like I said, an interesting end.
Yeah,
a good end.
I think people love the ending, but thank
jokes.
you everybody for listening. This has been the Mike in the Middle Wrestling Podcast. Those are predictions for WWE Wrestlemania Backlash.
I forgot we did those.
Brilliant name. And we will see you on the next podcast, which will likely be our review or our overview of our predictions and overview of WrestleMania Backlash.
Indeed.